Are you stuck? You're not developing any new products? Your staff is doing the same old thing over and over? Maybe you need innovation. Maybe you need creativity. So let's take a look at these two topics and see what we can figure out. Why innovation? Well, it's a matter of survival. If you're in a competitive industry, and which ones aren't these days, you're facing competition from all over, not just U.S. companies and organizations, but those all over the world. Innovation and creativity is more important than ever. Creativity is just idea generation. If you look at this boiling pot, you put heat under it with water, and water turns to steam. Ideas are boiling out. But unless you catch that steam and do something with it, it's just energy wasted. So it is with ideas without innovation. We hear a lot about thinking outside the box. And perhaps the real question is, how big is your box? Because we are limited in our thinking by a lot of things that have happened in our lives. So think of all these different elements when you're trying to define what the box you live in is really like. What is your thinking box? What are the things that limit your possibilities of thinking? And how do these affect the people who are around you? So don't think outside the box, explode the box. Look at the things that are limiting your thinking and see if you can open your mind to get around those. But here's an easy way. Diversity expands the box. A team of people working together, each with different perspectives, can broaden the horizon to generate new ideas and to find ways to put them into effect. So take a look at your team and see if you can bring different people together, teach them how to work together, and generate new ideas. Innovation, then, is the process of generating new ideas and putting them to use. So you see here that in the definition of innovation, I have included the idea of creativity. You need to have a process, however, to put those creative ideas into effect. Creativity without innovation is frustration. Innovation without creativity is impossible. Let's take a look at a startup organization. Usually you find 2 or 3 people working together to refine a new idea and figure out ways to introduce it to market. They may not even have an organization. They may not even define who the leader is. They just work together as a team in sort of an ad hoc fashion to figure out a way to get the product to market. They have no processes. They may be depending on outside organizations for their accounting and other support functions. Now let's take a look at an ongoing company. A typical ongoing company has a lot of processes. They know how to manufacture materials. They know how to give services. Their things are well defined, and let's do the same thing over and over and do it well. A company like this has difficulty being innovative because they don't want to disturb the ongoing processes. An innovative company then has both the process layer and the ad hoc layer. In this case, the ad hoc layer, the people working together in small teams and in informal fashion, generate ideas, and those ideas then are moved in a well-coordinated fashion into the process layer for implementation. Let's take a look at how that might work by looking at a typical innovation process, a process of finding and detecting new ideas and moving them to the marketplace. It looks like this. First of all, you need to generate the ideas. There are lots and lots of programs in creativity to help us figure out ways to generate new ideas. But those ideas have to be captured. There has to be a process within your organization that you can collect the ideas and then find a way to sift and evaluate the ideas to find out which are the best. Then you roll the best into a testing process that you prototype it or set up a pilot process to try to figure out if the new idea, in fact, can be implemented. And then you need to decide. And that deciding process could be developing a business case to see if the idea is profitable or not. And if it is, then you can move to design a process for going into volume production or moving it out to an idea out to the marketplace. And then the last stage, of course, is implementing. Now, given all this, there needs to be a feedback loop as well to find out how the product or service is doing in the marketplace. So that generally is an innovation process, a generic one, of course, but it's one that can be adapted to many different situations. The screening process in those steps is important. And the screening process looks at the critical issues that are important to the company. What's the business case? What's the strategic alignment? Does it align with our strategies? What's the level of risk and so forth? You need to generate a screening process and a set of criteria for your own company to determine which ideas you really move through to implementation. How do we find out whether we have a really good innovation process in our company or organization? It goes something like this. First of all, down at the red ball, you need to assess where you stand. Are we generating new ideas? What happens to them? Do we have a process in place that will actually move these ideas through to implementation? What kind of portfolio do we have? What ideas are currently on the table or being implemented, and what's the possible payback on those? What's our portfolio? We need to engage the people. Let people know that we want an innovative culture, that we want their participation, we want their ideas, and let them know how we're going to implement our ideas in this company. Then we need a strategy with some goals to say, here's the way we're going to implement innovation in this company. That translates into an action plan with target dates and responsibilities. And then we design a process specifically for our organization, a process similar to the one in the previous chart. We also need to develop champions. Who are the people who are going to take an idea and move it through the process and really take it to the goal line? Given all that, you also need a measurement system to measure how well you're doing in this innovation process. Here are some key questions on this chart. You can use this as a checklist to find out where you really stand, particularly in that assessment process. How many innovations did we implement last year? Do we have a portfolio, and so forth? One of the key questions is, however, do you want to be a roaring success or just another company? That's a critical strategic decision that management needs to face when you're discussing innovation and trying to decide what to do. Innovation produces changes that are essential to the survival of the company, and it's not about secret formulas. It's all about good management. I'm Grant Tate, and it's a pleasure to work with you today.